So, hello, and how are you doing today? Today, I'm super excited. If you've been listening to this little series I'm doing, it's all about how long does it take you to get where you want to be, right? So, I think it was probably episode 228. I talked about like where you can be at 3 months, where this one client of mine is at 3 months, and then last week on 229, I talked about 6 months. Like, what does 6 months do for you? And today I want to talk about 2 years. 2 years, and 2 years can sound like a lifetime, right? Like, if you think about it, like, even if I think about it right now, oh, it's going to take me 2 years to do this. That's a really long time. But the truth is that we're either going to stay the same, start slipping backwards, or if we're focusing, if like we're really focusing on our fitness, 2 years from now, we could be rocking it exactly like the person I'm introducing you today. Because we're about 2 years that we've been working together, and the change is astronomical. In fact, I think she's the reason that I'm doing this series. So I will just start this by saying, I don't know, maybe I'll call it a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I reached out to her because I had not heard from her. That's what I'm trying to say. Had not heard from her in a while. And I was just like, how you doing? I haven't heard from you. What's going on? She's like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I've been meaning to contact you. And like 2 minutes later, I've got a text back and it's saying, I'm on your calendar. Can't wait to chat. So I'm like, very excited. I want to hear what's going on. So when we get on the call, this is what I met with. Oh my goodness, I have the greatest schedule going on, and I'm either going to the studio or I'm using my workout room, and we took that room upstairs, the TV room, and we turned it into a workout room, and like all these things. Like, she's on fire, on fire. And I was thinking, I had this flashback of when we first started talking 2 years before. And it was I think it's almost 2 years to the date, practically. So that was her now. This is her. I'm going to explain, or let me like say a little bit about where she was 2 years ago. So when we first started working together, the way she described herself, and these are her words, she said, I was so flippin' inconsistent. I couldn't keep a fitness schedule. I couldn't create a fitness schedule. I didn't know what to do. And I really thought I couldn't care less, but there was that little nagging piece inside of me that wasn't willing to give up. And that's when I met her. So when we first started working together, she she was holding back. There was no doubt about that. Her knees hurt, her hips hurt. She had no energy. She had no commitment. She felt yucky most of the time. Those are her words. She said, I felt yucky all the time. She not only had this super low energy, sleep was a problem. And she said she was lazy, but I didn't think she was lazy. I thought that basically what had happened was that she'd tried so many things in the past. And that happens to a lot of people. Try all these things. You hear that there's this perfect diet, or you hear there's this perfect workout, or whatever it is. This is the thing that's going to change everything. Honest to goodness, it's not one thing. It's putting all the pieces together like a jigsaw puzzle or a recipe, putting all the pieces together that are the things that are going to work for you. Because fitness is a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. You may have heard me say fitness starts in your head too. So with Patty, that's where we started. We started with her mindset because she was feeling so beat up, and like she really wanted to be able to do things, but she didn't have the evidence that she could, or that she did, or that she would from the past. So we had to get that mindset changed, and we had to give her some movement that she enjoyed, right? Like, she wasn't going to just go start throwing around weights at the gym. Not there. Okay. So that's why so often just like, oh, here's the perfect workout doesn't work, because if you're not ready for that workout, or if that workout doesn't excite you, or, you know, bring you joy, it's, you're not going to do it. You're just not going to do it. So with Patty, we started with small baby steps. First, she liked jazzercise. She said, yeah, I like jazzercise. But what I'm doing is that I'll start I'll start to do it. And then I just kind of like sit down and listen for a while. And then I do it a little bit. And I sit down and listen for a while. So I was like, okay, why don't we use accountability? All right. We're going to use accountability to get you to do your jazzercise. And these are like, I don't know, I make it up, 20 minutes, 30-minute classes, not super long, to do it twice a week. So we started out with accountability. We started out with some easy jazzercise. We started out with some mobility because she said her flexibility was going away and it was worrying her. So we worked on a little bit of mobility, but all these things are small. Like we began with baby steps. This was not a dive in thing. This was a baby step thing because she needed to get her trust back in herself. She needed to see that she could have some real results. She needed to see the wins before she was willing to buy into it, right? Have you ever been there? I've been there. I have totally been there. I want to see a win before I'm like 1,000% on this. So we started with those. The other thing is that this was like a real big one for her. She liked to journal. And because she liked to journal, I was super excited because journaling, just teeny weeny journaling, 10 minutes in the morning journaling, allows people to track what they're doing. So when she was journaling, I said, hey, would you, just kind of track your exercise, track your movement, track how you feel, those kind of things. Didn't take, 2 seconds to put in there what she'd done or how she was feeling or how her sleep was, all those good things. So tracking is huge because it doesn't really matter today, tomorrow, this month, or next month if you're tracking. I mean, it does, I guess, to some degree, depending on what you're tracking. But when you look back after a year or 2 years or 3 years and you see that thing that you wanted so bad that seemed so insurmountable back then, now it's like you're just rocking it. You're just rock solid and steady and you're doing it and you've got it or whatever it is. That's when it makes a big difference. So I had her track things. And like one of the things, like for a small baby step, I mean, this was something that was happening with her. She would wake up in the morning. She was kind of groggy from a bad night's sleep. So the first thing she'd do is she'd like turn on the TV. Doesn't sound like, a terrible thing, but it would derail her. It kind of derails most of us, quite frankly. I would highly, highly, highly always suggest don't turn on the TV or the phone first thing in the morning. Like do the things that you want to do. Like do the things, make the habit, and then, and then do the other stuff. So she quit watching TV in the morning. She does a little bit of like, inspirational reading, or a little bit of journaling. She started putting together that schedule for, doing jazzercise a couple of times a week, doing a couple days of mobility, checking in with me and our accountability coach, and just making sure she's on track. And all of these things started working, right? And as she did them, and the more she did them, and the more she committed, and the more, we stepped up what she was doing and, brought in other things into the puzzle, all of a sudden, at that 1 year mark, she said, oh my goodness, I've lost 3 inches in my hips. That's a big deal. 3 inches is a lot, quite frankly. And she's not a big person. I mean, she's tall, but she's not a big person. So 3 inches is a lot. So I want you to listen real quick because I did do a little interview with her back on episode 191. So I'd love for you to listen to this quick thing that she had to say about where she was at 1 year. So that was 1 year. And what she realized at 1 year in was that now she was seeing some results. Now she was ready to like take that step across the line in the sand. Now she was ready to commit, right? Now she was ready to say, hey, you know what? Consistency is what I want. I can trust myself. This is a big piece, right? For all of us. When you start learning that you can trust yourself and continue to do what you say you're going to do. And even when we get off track, come back. So she was doing that. Like she's still traveling all the time, right? But she would come back, boom, she'd get back on track. So that's in a year. She said, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for more. So we stepped it up. I mean, we definitely stepped it up. She started doing tougher workouts, a lot more resistance training. And resistance training is like, it's that thing that changes, that moves the needle. It is. It always is. It will help us lose weight and it'll help us get better, get muscles and get curves and be healthier and feel better. So she started bringing that in. She became someone who thought of herself as consistent with her fitness. And so all in all, she basically just upped her game. Line in the sand. She's like, here I am. I'm ready to do it. And something else she said, and these were her words. She said, at 1 year, she said, after all these baby steps and using my journal to track, I didn't realize how far I had come until I looked back. That's the journal part, right? So she said that then all she could say was keep going because you have evidence. Small things were adding up for her. So then I would like you to listen to this other quick piece that she said, because this is super. I love this because she started diving into even more of the mindset and using her future self to future pace what she wanted. So listen to this quick snippet. So you could tell she dove in to more. Like she's now proving to herself that after a year she can do it. And so now she's leaning on the community. She's going for all in for accountability, because something that she'd realized before, or she hadn't realized before, was that she always thought that it was her. Sorry, that's what she thought. It was her. It was her that couldn't keep up, or that might be slipping backwards, or, maybe she wasn't really like part of the community because maybe she wasn't, doing all the things. But the reality is everybody needs that community. Everybody needs that, that accountability at times. We all have times we struggle, without a doubt. And we all have times we are rock stars. So we're all the same and we're all different, and we need that. So the more she dove in and leaned on community, the better things got. So today, okay, 2 years later, she's still traveling a lot. I mean, this year she's gone almost every month. She's going to Norway to do a tour, and she's doing hiking in Colorado, climbing mountains, and she's doing all these things, right? So she's gone a lot. She knows what works for her. She knows that for herself, if she's only gone for maybe 5 days a week, then what she's going to do is she's not taking all of her exercises with her. She'll probably do some mobility on the road. She'll watch her food, two meals a day. And that's her rule. It's like, if she has 3 meals a day, 2 meals a day, she's watching her food. The third meal, she's not, she's whatever she wants, which I think is brilliant. And so she's got all this stuff going on. And she also knows that if she's traveling for more than maybe 5 days, maybe a week or longer, she takes her resistance bands with her. And actually the other thing she does, even when she's taking small trips, a lot of times she still does her jazzercise. So she's building out not just her week of workouts, she's building out her month of workouts, not to the day, but so she's got an idea what's happening, right? She trusts herself. This is the piece that I see happening after someone's been doing this for a while. Sometimes it's, sometimes somebody's like 3 months, they're like rock in. Sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's a year, sometimes it's longer. But when we start really trusting ourselves and knowing that we are going to do what we said we're going to do, if we miss a week or we miss a day or we miss an hour, it doesn't matter. We are coming back because this is who she's become. She's become someone who is consistent with her fitness. So her fitness journey now is really more about fine tuning. And what she said to me was, she's committed to doing what she needs to do so that she can continue to do what she wants to do. So after this short break, come back because I've got one more tidbit that I'd like to share with you. And then I've got 3 tips that I think can help you be as rock solid as Patty. So thank you for coming back. And what I'd like you to think about is that baby steps work. Okay. A lot of times, people don't want to take small steps. And in truth, I think that baby steps are just a piece of the puzzle. So when you're willing to put all the things together, you're willing to use everything you need to use to have what you want. So you're willing to bring in the accountability and the support and the coaching and the training plan and, the mindset and all the things that work for you, because everybody's a little different. Then what you're going to see is when you look back, just like Patty said, when you look back, all of a sudden you see that all those small things added up every single time. So here's my tips for you today. I would like tip 1, ask yourself, is it line in the sand time, right? Are you ready to commit to moving forward and getting better and healthier and more energetic and fitter and all the things on that continuum? Or are you still like, line straddling? So don't just commit. Okay. Step 2, even if you commit, don't rush. All right. Don't rush. Rushing. So it took us a very long time for our bodies to get where we are today. It did. It took us our entire lifetime. And when we think we're going to change them in a month, 2 months, even 3 months, what we do is we put so much pressure on ourselves that it's easy to give up when we're not on track. So don't rush. Baby steps, just always keep moving forward. And if it's only 5%, it's only 5%. But then come back to all the things that you're going to get to keep you going forward and keep leaning on the help. Then the next piece is track your progress, track your workouts. When you track your progress, and it doesn't have to be big, it can be, just like, this is what I want. This would make me feel like $1,000,000 walking down those or walking up those stairs in Greece. That's what I want to be able to do. All those things, and think about being able to do that pain-free when at one point just the idea of doing it was insurmountable. So know that. Just start, track your workouts, be willing to just keep going. And I want to say, if you're ready for results, for a life of fun and freedom that gives you the fitness and the body that you want for a lifetime, get on our list, okay? All you have to do is go to fitisfreedom.com/list. fitisfreedom.com/list, and let's get you going. Think of where you could be in 2 years. Think of where you could be in 2 months if your sleep was better and you had more energy. It's the sky's the limit. So, all right, I'm going to stop. Thank you so much for being here today, and I will see you next week, because next week I have the last client that I want you to meet, and she is she's been with me for quite a while, and now I just want to share just the astronomical things that she is doing. So thanks for being here. Talk to you soon. See you next week.